So glad you are back with us on the Alon Exchange. Brad Johansson with Jane, Brittany Hagy, Alon Planning Partners. And I mean this sincerely. So good to be back with you guys.
Absolutely,
it's always a pleasure.
Brad.
You too,
Yeah,
Brad.
we're so grateful to have you.
Well, I now become appointment TV for a lot of you. So thank you for joining us. We're grateful for your time. And for a lot of you, you're watching this as couples, right? You're trying to get this thing right together because you're moving into something that is really the unknown, right? As we move into retirement, trying to figure this out. Have you heard any studies as we move forward on how we communicate with each other financially? Because I know for a lot of marriages, just the communication factor is a struggle, right?
Right.
Marriage is hard.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Marriage with finance and trying to move into retirement the right way is hard.
Right.
So I think, folks, for you today, we're going to try and maybe bridge the gap, maybe help with the communication process, try to figure out the best way. You as a married couple now doing this together is a challenge even in itself, especially the way you guys started in doing this really from scratch.
Really
Right.
Saying we're going to learn how to do this best so that we can teach people how. What's the perspective been? I want to lay that foundation. Give me the perspective on starting this, on trying to help people through this together as a couple.
Well, if you're watching today and you are married, you've been married for any amount of time, you know that does not come without disagreements, without conflicts.
Sometimes. Yeah.
If you can disagree on something, we pretty much do that, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah. Opposites do attract.
That is so true. That I don't understand that, but that is so true.
It's constant.
It makes marriage harder.
Yeah.
It does.
But it makes it beautiful as well. But if you have experienced marriage at all, you know that there are going to be financial differences. When you begin talking about your financial situation, you are not always going to see eye to eye. I'm the saver, he's the spender. That may surprise
Really?
some of you, but
way
that
it
is
is.
the case.
The
He
way it
is the
is.
spender. I'm the one that's more conservative when it comes to
I'm a risk taker.
our money,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, but he wants to take the risk. He's like, oh, I'll spend the money. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about that.
That's right. I'm the risk
So
taker.
it's going to happen. And as what we want to do is help folks really learn how to navigate those things, because it's not a matter of if they happen, but when they do
Well,
happen.
it's a math problem, number one, right? And so there are some things you got to talk about that's data driven. But then it's an emotional thing, number two, right?
Yes.
And so the way I view money and feel about money is not always the way Brittany feels or walks into a situation, conversation about money. And we have to be on the same page on these things. We find that as a lot of times when couples come in for retirement advice, one couple may be on the exact same page when it comes to here's how much we can spend every month and here's how much we need for our groceries and our bills and whatnot, and this is how we need to come in. But they may not be on the same page of what every day is going to look like through retirement, right? So my idea may be I'm retired now, I've worked for 40 years and I want to chill out and fish every day, right? And her idea is like, finally you're getting to retire
We can
with me
travel.
so we can travel
Yeah.
and go see the grandkids and do things like
Yeah.
this. So there's a communication gap, not just from the numbers of the finances, but from what do we do with our time from here? And that's
Right.
important to chat
Well,
about.
and what really kind of sparked this whole conversation today is I came across this study, this Fidelity study about couples and finance. And it was just so intriguing to me because I resonated with all of it. I'm like, yes, I see that, not just in our client base, but here, like I experience that. I know that to be true.
Share some of this.
Nearly 9 in 10 couples say that they communicate well, yet more than 1 in 4 partners resent being left out of financial decisions. Do you see the disparity in that? Oh yeah, we communicate great, but one partner's like, you didn't even include me in that decision. There's no communication happening. And that is so common when it comes
most
to
people
finances.
want it to be sameness. They want it to be the same. I want Brittany to view it the exact same way that I view it. The way I spend my dollars is the way I want her to spend it. It doesn't have to be the same. It has to align.
Right.
Right? So it
That's
has
the
to
key.
align for your common goal. It has to make sure that it fits into your financial picture and that it's actually working for both of you, right? It has to align, but it doesn't have to be the same. I can be the risk taker and she can be the conservative saver, right? And it actually helps each of us if we balance that. If I'm making decisions just on my block, I may have us at really risky investments when I should be a little bit more conservative. And if Brittany is the only one making those decisions and I'm being left out, then we probably won't make it through retirement because it's so conservative. We need to take a little bit more risk, right? So you have to have both.
How much you may see these numbers in the study, and you may share this with me, but the people that you're actually seeing walking into your office, how often is it that one person is making the financial decisions and the other is saying, they don't really need to be here, they don't really know, or I'm going to let them do that?
Yeah, that is very, very common.
Very common.
And most of the time, the male is taking the lead, but we serve a lot of clients where within the couple, the woman takes the lead.
That's
in
right.
the
We
scenario,
do.
right? So it really can go both ways. So that's not necessarily the point of the message here. The message here is that both parties should at least be engaged, informed, and as Jay said a moment ago, that was key, aligned. Doesn't have to, everything doesn't have to be perfectly in agreement, but they do have to align in that it works together when you're looking at planning. So ensuring that what one is doing is not negatively impacting the other, but that they work actually together for the benefit of the household and the family at large.
Does it become important then to switch the thinking? Because you talk about this, Jay, that there's an emotional engagement
Yes.
in addition to the intellectual of we need to put this plan all together. Can we
Yeah.
all get on the same team kind of thing?
Absolutely. And I have to realize, like, if I'm going to be the one that, okay, say that Brittany was not interested in making any financial decisions, she wanted me to do that. It's also a gift to me and her if I include her in at least a portion of, like she said, being informed and understanding where we're headed with this, because she's going to help rein me back on some things that I need to be, and I'm going to help push her forward in some things that need to be pushed on, right? And so if you utilize the strengths of both parties, you'll actually find that your plan is a lot more comprehensive and it's a lot better for you in the long term because you do have both dynamics that are engaged in giving input. And it's also a gift to the one that don't want to be engaged that much, and that's fine. There's always going to be one that they're like, I don't want to make any financial decisions.
Yeah.
But it's a gift to them that if something were to happen to the one that is making the financial decisions, that they're not completely lost, that they're not just stuck and not knowing how to pay the mortgage or how to look up these financial accounts to know what they actually do and how they exist. We've unfortunately seen that too many times to where a widow will come in and their spouse has passed away, the one that had done all the financial formation in their household, and they have no idea how to even continue to pay the bills or what their investment accounts are doing or how they should be functioning. It's a gift to the person that is not engaged to at least keep them informed.
But we recently actually had that happen. A couple that we've served for a number of years now, the husband passed away unexpectedly. There was a medical issue and he passed away. And obviously you can imagine that's just a very emotional time in a family's life. And so the wife came in and shared the news with us and we were processing with her. And the good news in all of that is that we had helped her. We had walked through. She had done the work of planning.
That's right.
We had worked together on all of that and what that would look like so that if something like this happened, the reality that she was now facing, she knew what direction to go. She knew the next step because things were in order, things were in place where she knew and was fully informed about the big picture. She knew to come to us. She knew how to pay her mortgage. She knew how to take care of those immediate things without having the stress of figuring it all out in the emotional moment of loss of a spouse. So that was a gift. That was a beautiful gift in that moment.
Jay, tell me what you're offering folks as they're trying to come together on this.
Yeah, and the great thing about our office is whether you're single or married, but especially today we're talking to married couples, if you want to come in together, Brittany and I actually will sit down with you, right? It's not just going to be one-on-one, it'll be 2-to-2, right? Because we're able to offer different dynamics and different suggestions, right? Because we want to put together a comprehensive plan for you, a plan that includes investment management, an income plan so that you know how much money you need and know that you're not going to run out of money in retirement, a tax plan so that you know that you're not paying Uncle Sam more than his fair share, a healthcare plan, because that's going to be one of the biggest expenses that we as a couple face through retirement, and an estate plan, so that if something were to happen to you or your spouse, that you know exactly how to handle that situation. So we do a comprehensive plan. We take a comprehensive approach, and we want you to be secure in your retirement going forward.
The idea is maybe there are some people who have the expertise, who have the perspective that you've been looking for. And for a lot of you, you're saying at some point, I'm going to do something about it. And today may be that day. To call now, 866-691-7317, so that you can put together a complimentary written financial plan that will take you into and through retirement. And maybe it will bring the communication back together again to try and find that common cause, which is a retirement of your dreams. Make the call now. Call the number on your screen. Scan the QR code. Make it easy for yourself to come together with somebody who's done it over and over again. Do yourself a favor and make the call now. We'll be right back.
In the mountains of Guatemala, women are fighting for a better future for themselves, for their children, and for their communities. At dareformore.org, every purchase has a purpose. From handcrafted jewelry, wallets, and vibrant bags to premium coffee, every item tells a story and changes a life. Your support provides education, safe shelter, and business opportunities for women escaping poverty and violence. Together, we're helping them rewrite their story from survival to success. Shop with purpose. Change a life. Visit dareformore.org today and be part of a movement that empowers women and gives hope to the next generation.
We know you have money questions. Questions about your investments, about taxes, our economy, Social Security, mutual funds, ETFs, and so much more.
So we want to provide you with answers. We've created a YouTube channel, a weekly podcast, educational videos, and many resources designed just for you. At Alon Planning Partners, it's our mission to invest in you, and this is part of how we do that.
Click the link below to watch and subscribe today.
So glad you are with us on the Alon Exchange as we try and figure this out as couples today. We're doing couples in finance. Brad Johansson with Jay and Brittany Hagy. I want to go back into the study. Before I do that, I want to put up getting your retirement readiness quiz up on the screen. I want you to be able to say, how do I figure this out? AlonQuiz.com has been put together because sometimes you don't even know what questions to ask. How do I figure out whether or not I'm ready? This has been put together with ease. Try and make it simple. Scan the QR code, go to AlonQuiz.com, and let's try and figure out whether you're ready. I'm going to leave that up for this segment as we go through it. Brittany, you talked about a study that they'd been through. I want to delve a little bit more into this study and why these numbers are so important. Lead me on that.
Yeah, all this is just so intriguing because it's confirming what we see every day when we sit down with particularly couples and we're talking about their finances. This study said 47% of couples disagree on how much risk they are comfortable taking on their investments. Yeah.
It's a common occurrence.
That's us, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's
I
a
mean,
common occurrence.
that's pretty normal. That's pretty natural. But what we want to do is help folks navigate that. It's okay that you have different preferences on your allocation strategy or how you want to be invested or how much risk you're taking. Here's the great thing. That can actually be a strength to your plan. If you utilize those two things and you put them together, it actually brings the diversification and the balance that a comprehensive plan needs.
Yep.
But if you're not working in tandem, you're ending up fighting against one another instead of working with one another. And that's feasible. Even with a differing opinion or differing desires on how things should be invested, you can still make those two things align in a way that works best for your financial situation.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to specifically to allocation models, and maybe we disagree on how we're supposed to be invested, right? We want to make sure that I at least hear what's being said. But if you've got a third party involved, right? Like that's where we come in to say, hey, I see this point, but let me put it in light of your overarching plan. So the allocation model that we put together is going to make sure that your income plan is going to be sustainable through retirement, that your investments that you're putting them together is creating money that gets rid of things like longevity risk of you outliving your money, right? We want to make sure that that's the case. And so we have to put these numbers through stress tests, not just I disagree because I don't want to take any risk, or Brittany disagrees because she wants to take more risk, or whatever it may be. We have to actually put data behind that and make sure that you're taking the appropriate risk, right? And so we help couples every day have these conversations to where they may just feel stuck. They may feel stuck doing this, right? That we want to say, hey, how can we help come in and soften that blow so you don't have to do this against each other, but you can do this and come together and walk together and for a common goal. That's what we help couples do.
Is this couples counseling? I mean, it's really couples financial counseling in the idea that, look, both of you have done a really good job of saving throughout this time. And there may be differences in the ideas of how much they need to save. I don't know whether the study talks about this and how to counsel through where we started on this program, which is opposites attract, and we're going to have different ideas going forward. Can we come together and figure out a common goal?
Yeah, well, here's a big one for me is that is something that we do is not just have financial conversations, because a lot of times as a couple that can lead to tension. It can lead to like, I've got a better idea financially than you have. I'm smarter than you are kind of deal. Like I know the data, you don't. And it really leads to, not allowing one or the other voices to be heard. We want to have financial dream sessions as well, to where, like I said, we're coming alongside each other and we're saying, where do we want to actually end up? What's the end goal? What's the purpose we're trying to achieve here? And if we can get to that purpose, that goal-based plan, we can put together a comprehensive plan to match your goals and to push you in the right direction. And so we want to help couples that are stuck in that mode of I am going to come against what she's saying because she's wrong, or she's coming against what I'm saying because she feels I'm wrong, to say, wait a minute, what's the overarching goal you're trying to get to here? And how can we make these a financial dream session, not a financial fight session, right? So that it is kind of counseling in those ways, but we're putting it in the right perspective, because perspective is everything.
Well, and sometimes when we get into those conversations, we come to realize that it really isn't a difference in approach or a difference in like even opinion, but maybe just in communication, that they're not communicating effectively. 36% of couples disagree on how much income their working partner makes. Yeah, I'd say that's based on a communication issue.
Right.
It's not, right? Like
Should be pretty
it
simple.
is what it is.
Yeah.
And so they're just not communicating about it. 34% disagree on their family's next big savings goal. So having conversations, this is where the financial dream session comes in. What do we want to do? Like, what do we want for our family? That's something we do at the end of every year. We're kind of assessing what the year was like and looking ahead to the next year. What are some things, some experiences we want to create for our family? What are some financial goals we're working towards or continuing on? Having those financial conversations, not just when you have to and it's really tense and really hard because I have to make this decision right now and we should have talked about this a month ago, but we didn't. But having those earlier, having those when you don't have to, but you need to. Having those earlier because they can be lighter. They're not filled with such emotion and even frustration of the moment, but they're filled with really excitement and joy. Where are we headed? What do we want to build?
And
What
it's
are we
just about
trying
being
to create
intentional.
together?
It's about being intentional, because Brittany and I are real people, and that's why we're trying to say, hey, when we meet with you, we know that you're going to hear real stories, and we're willing to share our story. We're just being vulnerable and saying, you know what, I'm human, and this is the way I think. She's human, this is the way she thinks. And put that in perspective in what the goal is you're trying to meet, so that friction actually produces motion where we
Yes.
want to go.
Yes.
So if there's no friction in the tire under our vehicle, we'll never go forward, right? So friction is not always a bad thing, but it can propel us forward if we'll allow it to. So we want to take those conversations where there is too much friction and say, how can we align your goals so that you're getting to the place you want to financially?
Interesting thing that I hear about this, because when you study habits and trying to figure that out, it is getting off hot zone and into cold zone kind of thing. When we're talking about friction, there's more of a cool zone of let's just get to an ease point here where we're not fighting one another.
Right.
Because what your goal is, we're going to stay together and we're going to make retirement great. And if we can help you do that with the understanding of where we need to be, this is the perspective that you talk about. The idea is you want it to be great, and you want a plan to be put together. And they have done this for you. The alonquiz.com will take you there. Scan this to try and figure that out, and then you're going to want to make a phone call so that you can put together a financial plan that is yours and yours alone. So let's put the number up on the screen so that you can make that call. You can scan that code as well. Let's put together a complimentary written financial plan that is yours and yours alone. Coolly, calmly, easily, with good communication. It's what Jay and Brittany do every day. Make the call now. Be right back. Just a minute with Alon Planning Partners, Brad Johansson, Jay Hagy. How do we best diversify in retirement?
I think Warren Buffett said it best. Investing is simple, it's not easy. The reason it's simple is you only have 5 asset classes that you can invest in. It's not easy because you have to determine where should I be in certain times in each of those asset classes. You want to make sure that you're looking into stocks, which are equities in companies, bonds, which are the debts of companies or countries, commodities, things like gold and oil and wheat, maybe even crypto at this point in the game. You want to make sure you have real estate in your portfolio and cash, whether that's under your mattress or in the bank. But you want to make sure you're fully diversified between those 5 asset classes.
So you've got a plan for diversification. Just a minute with Alon could change everything.
Are you actually ready for retirement or just hoping everything works out?
At Alon Planning Partners, we've created a quick and powerful retirement readiness quiz to help you find out. It takes just a few minutes and you'll get a personalized score showing how prepared you are in key areas like income, taxes, investments, healthcare, and legacy planning.
It's free, it's simple, and it could give you the clarity and confidence that you've been missing. Don't leave your future to chance.
Take the quiz today at alonquiz.com and get a clear picture of where you stand and where you need to go.
Are you retirement ready?
So glad you're with us on the Alon Exchange. Brad Johansson with Jay and Brittany Hagy, and we're talking couples today, how to bridge the gap when things are different. And this is a puzzle to put together for individuals or for couples, and it can be more complicated as you move into this. Why is the puzzle so complex?
So yeah, we've talked a lot about the friction in this show that sometimes lack of communication can cause. But on the other side of that, there's a comfort knowing that someone's in it with me, right? There's a comfort that comes along that says, you know, I'm not alone in this, that Brittany is with me, even though we have some friction sometimes, we're together.
Yeah.
And so the worry on that side of the table is, what happens if they're not there? What happens if I don't have my partner any longer? That's an emotional struggle, but then it becomes a financial puzzle struggle all in the same time. What we want to do is come alongside couples and create a better communication system and a plan so that they don't have the financial hardship that an emotional hardship will cause when one inevitably does predecease the other.
Yeah.
And so that comfort knowing they're always there, you always need to also know what happens if they're not. And we create comprehensive plans that include what happens if I lose half my income because my spouse is no longer here? I can only keep the largest of the 2 Social Securities, right? And so you have to make sure you cover every income planning scenario available when you're talking about couples, because you're inevitably going to be losing a percentage of that income at some point. I talked to a couple last week that the man actually has 3 different pensions, which most people don't have one pension. He had 3 different pensions. And so I had to make sure he had them under single pension file though. He was getting ready to file these. And I had to explain that to him, like, if you predecease your wife, she would lose all of this income. So we got him to help him file these to where he would still receive money, but it would be joint for his wife, right? And we created other buckets of income for that couple so that she didn't lose all of her income if something were to happen to him. You know how much peace that brought her in that scenario, and how much peace that really brought him to say, I'm caring for my wife well if I am no longer here. That's what we want to try to put together, a plan that covers all of the what ifs and takes out some of that worry and stress that you are going to have when one is not there.
And I'll tell you, on the flip side of that, that was a scenario of us helping them up front. Just in the last month or two, we walked through this with a couple who actually lost their spouse. But we were able to sit across the table, sit beside them and comfort them and walk them through what this actually looks like now. And they did not miss a beat. She did not skip a step in her big picture financial plan because we had done just what Jay had mentioned doing with that other family. We had planned. She had done the work of investing in with her husband. Let's take a look at this. And she knew things would continue if something happened to him. And it did. Unfortunately, it did. But she did not have that on the table to stress about and worry about. She was able to focus on what was at hand with her family being around and being with her children, and not, how do I pay the mortgage? Or do I have enough income for next month? All that continued. We had set that in motion for her. That's what we're talking about, ensuring that as you are planning as a couple, you're planning where it works together and not in opposition to one another, but using your differences to actually bring strength to your plan and ensuring that both spouses are appropriately cared for if that time comes.
And 2 quick statements before we end here. Working together financially just isn't the smart thing to do. It is smart, but it's not just the smart thing to do. It's really love in action. It's really me showing I care enough about Brittany that I want to make sure that we're engaged in this together. Right? That's important. The second thing is your relationship deserves peace, right? You want that, and this plan we put together for you will help you put you in a place of peace, as we talked about.
And isn't that what we all want? A place of peace, but one that we understand, that we can lay our head down on the pillow at night and go, this is all going to be okay because we have a plan. That's what Jay and Brittany do every day. And you need to call the number on your screen to get your plan together now. You probably waited long enough. Let's take some action now. Do it together and bring some peace. Can't wait to see you in the office. Thanks for spending time with us here. We'll be right back here next time on the Allen Exchange.